Hi, Jason Rona here at the 2023 IFMAR World Championships. We're at Hobby Action in Chandler, Arizona. We're here with Tyler Hooks, and Tyler's with us here this weekend. He's got a little kind of a split role. Tyler's doing some racing in both classes, plus he's running the JConcepts booth here, helping us get set up, get those new t-shirts out there, new hats. We got some swag and different things we've been setting up. And Tyler, you're kind of right in the thick of things here. With the race in general, you have the ability to kind of be on a little bit on both sides this weekend. You've been down there mounting tires. We have a little bit of a tire controversy with just not having enough four-wheel drive front tires at the moment as the control tire. And Tyler, give us a little update on kind of when you think we're going to get started today, and going from there, how long you think practice is going to go, and where are things going to go today?
I mean, it sounds like from what everybody's been saying is that the program being shortened is off the table, it's out of the question. And then having an off day is something that IFMAR requires at these events. So with that being said, it's probably just going to be a late night tonight. It looks like hopefully we'll get started between 12 and 1 today instead of at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. when we were supposed to get started. And then we're going to run our 4 rounds of practice today like we were scheduled to do, and hopefully we get done by 11 p.m. or midnight. So the whole day's just been shifted back, and then we'll figure out what to do with the opening ceremonies from there. I don't know if they're going to do it tonight or if they'll save that for tomorrow morning. But nobody's going to lose any track time. We're limited to 5 sets of tires. Most of the guys already have their sets of tires. They're already figured out and ready to go. And right now they're just getting the people that didn't already have tires yesterday, their situation figured out, and then we can launch into actual practice today.
So kind of catch everybody else up, they want everyone to have 5 complete sets of four-wheel drive tires. Again, these are controlled front and rear. You did basically most of the day yesterday was spent, mounting these tires and getting prepared. And talk to us about, being out there. One of the ththings that we had to do, or you had to do, is mount tires out in the heat, the Arizona heat underneath the tent. We got some good pictures that Hannah took out there of, a full area. It was packed. You guys had it all. It's like you had a whole nother pit set up, getting your tires mounted. Some guys were out there for 2 hours getting their stuff done. You got Mayfield who can get it done in 30 minutes. But, talk to us about being out there. You said you met some new people. You had some good times out there mounting tires.
Yeah, I sat with the Pacific Northwest guys and some of the Australians, and I was out there for probably an hour and 45 minutes. I did 6 sets of tires. There's probably enough room for like 30 or 40 guys to be doing tires at the same time. So there were people kind of cycling in throughout the day. We had like 6 or 7 hours yesterday that was just dedicated to like whenever you want to go out there and do it, just go out there and get it done. Unfortunately, a lot of guys did quite a few more than the 5 sets that we've been regulated to, but then obviously with running out of tires, that's what the holdup today has been, is kind of giving some of those back and getting ready, to give other guys an option to have tires, to trade some tires to people, or to just, put them away and say you can't use them. So yeah, it was kind of fun. It was really hot out there, and kind of, I guess the one silly rule is you weren't allowed to have a drink with you, so you either had to get up and go get one or just wait until you were done. So it wasn't super ideal when it's 110 degrees outside, but it was, we all lived.
So let's look at the track itself. I was a little afraid ahead of time that lots of times you'll see a track kind of overdo a track layout. They just want to make it special, so then they go and throw more stuff on it, or they get a little bit too wild with what's going on. But I think we showed up to a very traditional kind of track. I don't think that this necessarily really favors anybody in particular. It looks, other than the little stutter bump whoop section that I was can kind of play havoc with these 10-scale cars. What are you seeing with the track itself? And we've got a triple coming on, double coming on.
Yeah, I kind of noticed the same thing you did. It's most people would say if it's not a crazy layout like that, it's like, oh, it's kind of lame. But to their success, I think, Jake and Matthew and those guys, they put in a layout that's very fair. It's wide. The lanes are all consistent all the way around. The jumps look great. Obviously, them putting in the misting system and all the extra work they've been doing to try to make the surface better it's been really good. So I think the layout's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, it looks like it's going to flow really well, and even like the stutter bumps or whatever, they don't look like they're going to cause that much havoc with a four-wheel drive car, especially. So we'll see how they change up the track for two-wheel and how that affects that section. But for the rest of the track, I think it looks fun. It just looks like it's going to be enjoyable to drive.
So, your experience here, you said you haven't been here, I believe, since the Nationals. You won a class there at that time, a few years back, I believe in the four-wheel drive class. So, how do you kind of compare getting prepared for something like that, where you were running 13.5 four-wheel, versus now you're preparing and you're going to run the full modified class like everybody else, but what's the preparation like in your mind preparing for that versus this?
I don't feel like it's, for me personally, I don't feel like it's super different. If you were to spec out the car and you were paying full price for everything, honestly, it's probably a little bit cheaper. Just because you don't have all the crazy lightweight aluminum parts and stuff. Most of the the titanium screws and the accessories that we have are more for an aesthetic purpose of this event than they are for performance. So I think that you can tell with everyone, whether it's their own, it sounds weird, but whether it's their own personal grooming or their car, like everybody's stuff just looks really good this weekend. Like everybody put a lot of effort into presenting the best that they can, and I think obviously that's part of what makes this event special. Is it is the pinnacle of racing for us. So everybody not only wants to perform well, but they want to look good. So yeah, it's a little bit less of like the weird titanium, aluminum, drivetrain, accessories, and all that stuff, and a little bit more on just it's got to be functional, it's got to be effective, and you don't need to have 5 motors with you or a bunch of batteries or whatever. Like you just need to have all the right stuff and be prepared.
So when you're getting ready, we're going to start practice here sometime today. What are you going to kind of go out with in terms of what's the mentality for learning the track? To start off, you're going to get that first run, that second run. What are you going to do? What are you going to think about to kind of get out there, and what's it going to be like?
I think personally, like in an ideal world, for me, what I would love to do is honestly get a 5-minute run with 1 crash or less. Because it's really easy when you only have a set amount of practice sessions or a set amount of qualifiers or whatever to go out on the first run, crash 2 or 3 times, and get yourself frustrated, and then you feel like you're behind for the whole rest of the event because you didn't get that first practice, you didn't get a good second practice. So I want to just be consistent, go out there, have a good run, put some lap times down, get things figured out, and kind of move forward from there. I feel like once you kind of get the ball rolling, then it's easy to keep that momentum. But it's hard if you don't start with momentum to get it.
All right, so moving into what we can kind of see, we have I'd say this has got to be the deepest field I've ever seen at a 10 scale type of worlds like this, and we got a full field for the most part. I think there's 14 or 15 heats at least. So talk to us about what you think is, what do you see things shaking down like in terms of, the favorites, the A mains, the B mains, the C mains? They're going to be stacked. But what are you seeing in terms of, the drivers? I have the ones I think that I've seen here that look the best, but what are you seeing?
I think personally, and it's going to be hard to not sound jaded two-way, not to sound like I want an American to win, or not to sound like I want a JConcepts driver to win. But I think that if you look at the past, you look at these guys' trajectories, and you look at how the year's gone, it's really hard to not see the top 3 guys being Spencer Rivkin, Dakota Fenn, and Brock Champion. They've all had great success at hobby action over the past couple of years. They've been spending a lot of time on dirt tracks recently, getting prepared. They've been to the warm-up or at private testing sessions here, not private testing, but weekly testing sessions or whatever. And they've been doing all the things that they can do. So I think for me, the top 3 guys, it's really hard to bet against those guys. Not to say that somebody else couldn't win, but if we were actually placing some Vegas odds, that's where mine would be. So
to get into that elite, what are you going to have to do as another driver to get into that elite of the elite?
I think that there's some of these guys that they don't care that Spencer Rivkin and Dakota Fenn and Brock are the favorites. Like they're aware of that. They hear and they see that stuff, but it doesn't bother them. Like I don't feel like a Michael Orlowski really is bothered by that. He's the next guy that shows up on my radar. Another one that certainly does not care, and does not care that anybody thinks that he doesn't race 10 scale enough or he hasn't been to enough events. Is Davide Angara. He shows up, he does what he does, and he goes home. Like how you feel about how he should do is not something that's important to him. And then obviously Bruno is a 2-time world champion in 4-wheel. Like, this is his class. This is his part of the week to shine. And there's quite a few other guys that haven't had that experience at world championship events, but could potentially do it, like a Marcus Harrop or the Hall brothers or somebody like that. So there's a lot of guys. Aiden Horn's another one that could just show up and decide that this is the weekend where he's going to step up. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I mean, I think that 10 is going to be pretty tough to make for everybody. I mean, there's going to be, I believe there's only a few guys that are written in there, and then it's a battle for the rest of them. And I think you hit on the hot guys that have been here over and over again, that have been quick. But we're gonna see. There's always some surprises. What I'm looking for is those 3 guys, a couple surprises, a couple veterans, and then a couple guys that squeak in.
Right.
That's gonna be, I think, the how the layout is gonna be. So I'm interested to see who can step it up, and if we can get out there today and actually see some cars going, and then maybe we can kind of get back into this and say, all right, who looked good today, who didn't look good, who's going to come back with a vengeance for qualifying. So, I mean, that's what we're kind of looking forward to now.
Yeah, I mean, everybody right now is just so antsy, whether it's, us talking about this and wanting to know how people are going to do, if it's me wanting to go out there and drive, if it's, all those guys, everybody just has a lot of nervous energy. So it's time to get all the tire stuff figured out, get all that under our belt, and get on the track. That's all we have left.
All right, so that's an update here, just early at the World Championships here in Chandler, Arizona. We thank Tyler. We're going to be checking in with him throughout the race to kind of see what's going on. We're trying a couple different backgrounds here. We got a little audio issues here in Starbucks. We're trying it because the track is real busy and it's hot outside. So we're trying to find our nice spot here to take care of these interviews. And stay tuned all weekend, and thanks for joining us.